you have anything else you want to say about the dunk contest?
Nope.
All right, so basically we're recording this podcast, and it's about halftime the way through the All-Star game. So if we get through the end of the game by the time we finish this next segment, we'll talk about it. We might talk about it a little bit, so much for what we've seen so far. But the next segment is a really exciting one. I'm really going to have a lot of fun with this. Is this basically top 75 all-time team. They had a draft with, let's see here. They had a draft, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed these type of things a lot. I really enjoyed when they did an original one when they had Charles Barkley, Kevin McHale, Steve Kerr, who used to work for TNT at that point in time. Really great. But basically, drafting from the top 75 best players of all time and 5 guys who missed that filled out some more teams. So there's 80 guys in the field, and there were 8 people drafting, so 10 players on each team. So let's just go over quickly the people who were drafting. Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker, and a random guy I don't even care to know were drafting one team. Quavo was drafting a team. They brought in somebody that actually knows basketball, Jerry West. Basketball mastermind.
Yeah.
Shaq, Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith were just drafting a team. Let's see here. They called them the information team. It was Chris Haynes and a guy I don't know, basically like TNT's version of Woj and like Zach Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
Dominique Wilkins was drafting a team. Very respectable. Sue Bird, WNBA player. And this random guy that we didn't even take the time to figure out who he is, still, D.L. Hewley. Chris, your intro to an NBA top 75 all-time draft is this guy was on Dancing with the Stars. Who is he?
What is it? D.L. Hughley?
Hughley.
Is it Hughley? Oh, he's a comedian.
Oh, so they brought in a comedian to do the NBA top 75 all-time draft.
Yeah.
You know who works for TNT? Isaiah Thomas works for TNT. We can't get him a team. You got all these all-time greats are here at this game. I would love to see Bill Russell draft a team. I would love to see like guys like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan might be at the All-Star game. I don't know what he's doing in his free time, but like, dude, all these all-time amazing world-class NBA players are at the same place at the same time, and you can't get somebody better than a comedian to pick a team that I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, he's one of the original kings of comedy.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
If you're talking about D.L. Hughley, then yeah, he even had a radio show at one point. The Hughley show.
I didn't know.
And he had a TV show. So pretty famous guy. Famous guy.
Yeah, famous guy. I mean, geez, if you guys are looking for applications, send us.
Right?
Send us.
Can we go? Can we be invited?
We're more qualified. Oh my gosh. I got off that. I mean, I understand Quavo because, you know, some viewers might just want to see Quavo draft a drip team, even though, you know, I'm a basketball purist, so I'd rather see Kevin McHale in there. But
Kevin McHale with the team would have been amazing.
I know. Yeah. He literally used to be a GM. Like, we can't, like, Isaiah Thomas used to basically be a very major part of the Toronto Raptors when they first became a team. Like, you guys have all these people that you pay, and you can't find anybody. Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
Yeah. I don't even know. Kevin Garnett used to work for them. I don't know if he still does.
He used to have a show, didn't he?
Yeah. He used to have a show. I'm surprised they don't have it still, because he was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But, you know, the draft went not that crazy. I think basically what I expected to happen happened, which is the older guys chose forward, center. We need forward, center, depth type of thing. The number one pick was Jerry West, and he chose Kobe, which is kind of cool. You know, Jerry West It was funny because some people didn't know who the players were at the end of the board. And they're like, oh, this player did this in the 60s and 70s. Talk about Dolph Chase and like Dave Bing and stuff like that. So it was an interesting watch, but basically we have every single team that they drafted, and we basically made a March Madness Elite Eight from it. So we ranked every team, gave them a 1, 2, or 3, or 4 seed, and we're going to have them play against each other, and we're going to see who drafted the best team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris, are you ready? Do you just want to announce the seeds first?
Yes.
You want me to go over the seeding?
Yeah, go over the seeding.
Okay. The number 1 overall seed, the favorite to win it all, Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker, and Mr. Random Guy. I don't even know who he is still. I didn't take the time to look. He drafted. He has CP3, Jerry West, Kevin Durant, Scottie Pippen, Shaq, Bob Cousy, Earl the Pearl Monroe, Klay Thompson, George Mikan, and Robert Parrish. I mean, what are you thinking about that team when I say that?
I like that team. It's funny. Jerry West drafted Kobe first and not himself, but then they draft Jerry West.
Yes. Yeah, they robbed. They got KD in like the second round.
Really? Nobody was thinking
crazy.
about getting KD?
No, they drafted Shaq first and they got KD in the second.
They kind of got lucky. They got Shaq, KD, and they got the one-handed wonder, Jerry West, and CP3.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I see this team, what screams out to me is basketball intelligence. Like ball control, you got CP3, basketball genius, right? And Bob Cousy to be the backup, the point guard. So he's a basketball genius, well passing, going to make everybody else better. High basketball intelligence, knows how to win. The Jerry West, who some people could consider a point guard, so that's how good of a mind he has. Great perimeter shot creator. We have KD, shot creator from the perimeter. Scottie Pippen to be the role guy, high basketball IQ, winner, NBA champion, Shaq, obviously Klay Thompson for spacing, defense, rotating in. And Robert Parrish, who's a champion too.
Mm-hmm.
Earl the Pearl Monroe is going to get some minutes, but he's a shot creator as well. This team is ridiculous, Chris.
Yeah,
it's defensive. It's high basketball IQ. It's a scary team. So that's the number 1 overall seed. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the information team, Mr. Chris Haynes and a guy I don't know, drafted not a bad team. We got Magic Johnson, Ray Allen, Michael Jordan, Kawhi Leonard, Bill Russell, Dame Lillard, Paul Arzon, Rick Barry, Chris Bosh, Willis Reed. When I say that team, what are you thinking?
They got a lot of shooting. Like,
yes,
that's what they did. They got a lot of shooting, a lot of athleticism, a lot of big athlete, a lot of like tall athletic guys.
Yes,
defensive, offensive. They have it all covered. They're like, these are all around players.
Yes,
that's good. That was wow. I wasn't expecting. That's a good team.
I know, right?
Who do they have as a big though? I didn't quite hear.
Bill Russell.
That's not bad. If you're not looking for him to score, just wanting to be defensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could do that. You could do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like this team has obviously, Michael Jordan needs spacing. Ray Allen's a ridiculous world-class shooter, and the guy you're bringing off the bench as your main guard is Dame Dolla, 3-point shooting bench guy, and Rick Barry's, up there in the free throw shooting percentage list and highly efficient 3-point shooter. And then you have Kawhi who can shoot threes of space, and MJ and Kawhi and Bill Russell defensively. Dear goodness. And Magic orchestrating everything. He's a post guy too. It's a scary team and so much bench shooting as well. I mean, you got so much high level mid range shooting as well. Like only guy that really can't shoot on the floors, Bill Russell. Yeah. And if you just basically say Paul Arzon, you're getting no minutes, this team is scary as all get out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go over the 2 seeds now. The first 2 seed in a dark horse to win this tournament bracket is Sue Bird. It's the 3rd best team here. Now she didn't choose this team in this exact formation that I basically put this team in. Made some adjustments to make it really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We got point guard, LeBron James, Pistol Pete Maravich at the 2 guard. They have Steve Nash coming off the bench, so LeBron's not going to play all point guard minutes. He's basically going to be the backup small forward and playing like 22 minutes of point guard.
Mm-hmm.
At the 3, you got Larry Bird. Dear goodness. So basically, you got 48 minutes of Bird and LeBron James.
Yeah.
And then you got Kevin Garnett and Jokic. Whew. Steve Nash, Sam Jones, Dave DeBusschere, James Worthy, Anthony Davis. So, I mean, I would just say James Worthy and Dave DeBusschere, you're not playing any minutes because AD is better than both of you could rotate a center power forward.
Yeah.
And that's where this thing gets scary because defense, size, spacing. Dear goodness, Chris, what do you think about this team?
This is like, I think when you told me about this team, this is one of the teams I picked to win it because they have one of my favorite players. He's super underrated. Yes. Pistol Pete Maravich.
Yes. Yeah.
Pistol Pete Maravich, and you playing him at position and not out of position, it's scary for everybody. Do we understand what 100%. This guy was before he was Curry before Curry?
Yeah. So special. So special.
And
one of the most underrated players of all time.
Facts. And he has a passing ability, too. So that makes it even more scarier.
Yes. Everybody on the team passes. We got Steve Nash, LeBron, Jokic, Maravich, Bird. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you all have, like, these guys have crazy IQs.
Yes. Yes. Basketball geniuses are on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so the next 2 seed, surprisingly, Shaq, Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith didn't choose a terrible team. All right, so we got Isaiah Thomas.
Of course.
D. Wade.
Okay.
Reggie Miller. Now, they didn't choose Bob McAdoo as their starting power forward, but I know they need Bob McAdoo at the power forward, so Bob McAdoo, Kareem. They got Tiny Archibald coming off the bench.
That's crazy.
Clyde Drexler, Billy Cunningham, Wes Unseld. He's an undersized center. He's like 6'7", 6'8", but he was a great mid-range shooter and rebounder. So I have him like the backup power forward position.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave Cowens, as like the backup center. So what do you think about that team?
I like that team too. It's not a bad team. It's not a bad team at all. You got Dwayne Wade. In his prime, he was Flash. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You got Bob McAdoo. He's a 50-point machine right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kareem too.
Yeah. And it's you got Reggie Miller to space as well. Billy Cunningham's a good 3-point shooter. Spacing is going to be a problem, but when you have so many legitimately world-class, amazing, probably top 20 mid-range shooters of all time on one team, things start getting interesting where spacing is not as big of a problem.
Yeah.
And they just have so many guys on here that are lockdown, knockdown, mid-range shooters. People underrate how impactful Bob McAdoo is. So this team is scary, Chris. I mean, 48 minutes of Isaiah Thomas and Tiny Archibald. Dear goodness.
Okay, Tiny Archibald just like cuts through and floats and oh man.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good team.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good team. All right. You ready for the 3 seeds?
Yeah.
The 3 seed, surprisingly, was Jerry West. Jerry West has got the best 3 seed. So he's got John Stockton, Elgin Baylor, which we've talked about before. He's a good, we view him as like playing in this era would probably be a good point guard. Kobe, Charles Barkley, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Sharman, John Havlicek, Carmelo Anthony, Nate Thurmond, and David Robinson. Now,
that's tough.
The David Robinson thing, he can't really start because Charles Barkley's mid-range shooting is very important, and Nate Thurmond can't shoot to save his life.
Yeah,
but we would have him like having 30 minutes off the bench and like basically splitting power forward minutes with Charles.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking about that team?
That's a tough team too. That's a really tough team. You got David Robinson makes it tough. You have Kobe, and that's a problem in itself.
Yeah. John Stockton provides some very much needed spacing.
Spacing, shooting, and defense. Remember, he's like the all-time steals leader.
Yes. Elgin Baylor is very skilled mid-range shooter. Obviously, Kobe is Kobe mid-range. Charles Barkley mid-range. Like it's a lot of elite mid-range shooters, and bringing off Melo off the bench, getting major minutes with John Havlicek as well.
Yeah, John Havlicek.
Like that's a lot of. Yes, sir. It's a lot of skill there, and so Elgin Baylor's passing ability is going to be important because some of those 13 minutes where John Stockton isn't playing, he's going to be the point guard. I mean, because he's probably the second best passer on that team. So, and then the next 3 seed is Dominique Wilkins' team.
No.
So he's got Oscar Robertson, James Harden himself, Dominique Wilkins, Karl Malone, Moses Malone. He chose Lenny Wilkins, but he would be getting no minutes in this tournament. Paul Pierce, Dolph Shays, Bob Pettit, and Patrick Ewing.
I like Dolph Shays.
What do you think about this?
The
team?
Dolph Shays makes it interesting.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know who Dolph Shays is, oh man, go look him up.
Strap on him.
Yeah. Dolph Shays makes it interesting. That's more shooting.
Yes.
That's a lot of shooting. You got Patrick Ewing because he can dominate down low. He can step back and make it like a kind of a mid-range shot. He's versatile.
Yes.
He's versatile as a big.
So is Bob Pettit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Malone. Like you have some really elite power forward shooters here. That makes this really an interesting team.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, Oscar Robinson is one of the greatest mid-range shooters of all time, legitimately.
Sure.
Like,
why didn't these players pick themselves?
So special. I don't know.
Like
Dominique drafted himself in the first round.
Oh.
And this team's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good team. It's an interesting team. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
The 4 seeds. Well, the overall 4 seed, the worst team in the league, we will not reveal. Surprisingly, the second worst team is DL Hughley, Mr. Comedian, podcaster, whatever he is. We'll just say entertainer. Is that cool?
That's fine.
Say he's an entertainer.
He's definitely an entertainer.
He's got Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, and his team would have been the worst team until he chose this guy, Tracy McGrady. That's where things became interesting.
Yeah.
He chose Dirk, Hakeem, Dave Bing, Jerry Lucas, Kevin McHale, Tim Duncan, Bill Walton. He basically chose 5 power forwards or centers in his first 7 picks and just got lucky that he drafted Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
That's where things become interesting. So what do you think about this team?
He's definitely like, I don't know what to say about this because like I know that he probably doesn't have any basketball IQ, but he did draft like a bunch of really big guys. But he has like Jason Kidd, I guess, for his IQ, Gary Payton for his defensive ability, but he doesn't have any like ball handlers, shooters, really. I mean, besides like Dave Bing, it's not really a good team. I mean, it's big. It's a big team. I mean, they're gonna have problems with defending down low. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you face this team, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty much wide open. I mean, Dirk is going to score for you, of course, but other than that, I mean, a lot of these other guys, they chose like bigs and shooting, and they can space the floor and they can defend. This guy just really just went big. Yeah.
It's the T-Mac and Dirk thing makes it respectable to a certain point. It's a weird thing. He doesn't really have any shooting guards on the team. I mean, it's very defensive, but the best years of Jason Kidd are not his shooting peak when he's older.
Yeah.
Gary Payton's a little bit better shooter than people remember, but it's a team lacking shooting, but has a lot of size. Hakeem is so special. And, Jason Kidd with these great bigs is going to be an interesting dynamic. But the guard position size is a little bit of worry for me. Jay Kidd's like, say, 6'4". Gary Payton's like 6'3". Dave Bing's like 6'3".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's some small guys at the 2 guard position. And then Mr. Quavo Honcho, he drafted Steph Curry, and I was like, oh my goodness, Quavo Honcho's going to win this tournament. And then he drafted a team that makes no sense.
Yeah.
He has Allen Iverson, George Gervin, Dr. J, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Clyde Frazier, Russell Westbrook, Hal Greer, Dennis Rodman, Elvin Hayes. What do you think about this team?
He has so many guards.
I know.
So many guards.
I know.
So many undersized guards at that too.
Yes.
I don't get it. What was he? What was he trying? Who's playing? Like, did he just pick point guards?
He was drafting team drip. He wanted everybody to have drip.
How do you know what George Gervin was dressing like? Please let me know.
I mean, he is the Iceman.
But listen, think about this for a
nickname.
second. Think about this. Think about this. Mm-hmm. Before Allen Iverson came in the league, everybody wore suits to every game.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it was just a suit. I mean, you can be drippy in a suit, but I'm pretty sure it was just a suit. Like LeBron had a suit.
Yeah.
Now he wears whatever he wants.
The all white draft night. Yeah. LeBron owns the league. He does whatever he wants. He could walk in with like nothing on except like a G-string, and the NBA would be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, like it's definitely fine. Like what?
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, the Allen Iverson Steph Curry pairing could have been really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he would have just drafted some shooters and some guys that could point forwards, this team could have been really interesting.
Yeah, like a Grant Hill, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Grant Hill didn't make 75, did he?
Nope.
No, never mind then.
Yeah, it's because they're biased.
Yeah.
All right, so you ready for this? So, any ideas how we're gonna break a tiebreaker?
How?
I'm asking you what, because basically we're gonna choose who's gonna win games in the bracket. So, any ideas what we're gonna do if we choose different teams?
Ah, man, we have to discuss it.
Okay. If we don't come to a decision, can we just rock, paper, scissors or something like that?
Yeah, we'll select the best team.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So the overall 1 seed is Dwayne Wade's Candace Parker's team versus Quavo Honcho. Again, so people know, D Wade's got CP3, Jerry West, KD, Scottie Pippen, Shaq, Bob Cousy, Earl Monroe, Klay Thompson, George Mike, and Robert Parrish. And Quavo's got Steph, Allen Iverson, George Gervin, Dr. J, Greek Freak, Clyde Frazier, Russell Westbrook, Hal Greer, Dennis Rodman, Elvin Hayes. Can you break down the series, see who you think's going to win?
For Osu Bird, right? That's what I would say.
Oh no, this individual matchup between the Dwayne Wade and Quavo's team. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like you said before, the Steph Curry Allen Iverson pairing would have been very interesting, but he just chose a bunch of guards who just are undersized, who will just basically get destroyed. Like, who's going to guard? Maybe they can guard CP3, but then they have big, so he just pick and roll all day, and they're all small. The only person he got that was big was who was his big over there?
Giannis and Elvin Hayes.
I mean, Giannis makes a difference. Not much. It's just if it's just him and he's surrounded by guards, it looks like Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, and he has Shaq.
Oh,
D-Wade has Shaq on his team.
Oh, yes, over.
Yeah,
he's putting him in a blender.
I literally would choose 4-0 sweep in a 7-game series. They win by 20.
Yeah,
every game. It's not even close.
Yeah, he's putting Giannis he's putting Giannis in the rim every time.
We're gonna delete Quavo's team. Bye Quavo.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a good day. All right. Do you want to do this like the Olympics and have like a gold, silver, bronze?
That's fine.
Okay. So the teams that lose to the teams that make it to the championship game, we'll have them play each other.
Yeah.
See who gets who gets bronze. All right. A really good matchup. This is going to be a good one, Chris. We got Jerry West, John Stockton, Elgin Baylor, Kobe Bryant, Charles Barkley, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Sharman, John Havlicek, Melo, Nate Thurman, David Robinson versus Shaq and Charles Barkley and the Jet Smith, Scott, Isaiah Thomas, D. Wade, Reggie Miller, Bob McAdoo, Kareem, Tiny Archibald, Clyde Drexler, Billy Cunningham, Wes Unseld, Dave Cowens, Christopher Muhammad. Who's winning? The 3 seed or the 2 seed?
I'm going with Jerry West's team.
Okay, why?
I think he has too much. See, I don't have it in front of me where I can see the teams because I keep forgetting who's on the team. Hold on a second.
Oh, there's a Google Doc of it.
Oh, is it the All-Star Game document or All-Star Game stuff?
Yeah, All-Star Game stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I deleted Quavo's roster though. Just go from the top because I mocked who I would choose in each matchup. I can actually delete that, so it makes it easier for you. I'll delete.
John Stockton, Elgin Baylor, Kobe Bryant, Chuck, Wilt, Bill Sharman, Hondo, Melo, May Thurman, David Robinson's. Yeah, I have Jerry West. I have Jerry West for sure. Yeah, because
Can you tell me why?
Isaiah Thomas, D. Wade, Reggie Miller, Bob McAdoo, Kareem. The Bob McAdoo and Kareem thing makes it a little bit different. Makes it a little bit difficult. But I think that once you throw Kobe Bryant in there, and Wilt becomes a problem for everybody because of how he moves and his defensive offensive capabilities. Then you have Melo off the bench, and he's just going to ISO whoever. And Hondo is very underrated because as a shooter, I mean, he was a 6-man. So he's shooting lights out. David Robinson, Nate Thurman. I mean, Nate Thurman isn't great, but David Robinson, once he gets his minutes, it gets hard for everybody.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is the John Stockton mind, the Elgin Baylor athleticism, the Kobe Bryant, just killer is what does it.
Yeah, I think that, I would agree with you and choose the upset, and that the reason why I think it'd be a good series. They're very close. I also agree with you. Wilt and Kobe being so scary of a matchup's tough, but there's not a lot of great bench bigs, which is kind of surprising for the Shaq and Chuck team. I mean, Wes Unseld, Dave Cowens, they have to deal with David Robinson coming off the bench. I mean, Bob McAdoo going up against David Robinson for 24 minutes a game at the power forward position, having to be guarded by that ridiculous athlete. That's tough. You know what I mean? And that whole team is predicated around, okay, we're going to kick it to Kareem, and you're not going to stop Kareem. Well, Wilt Chamberlain blocked Kareem's hook shot when he was 34 and decrepit. Imagine him at his peak when he's 24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the only person in the history of time that's been able to block that shot. So it's a really bad matchup, and I would completely agree with you. I would have the Jerry West's dream team, I guess you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, winning 4-3, goes to Game 7. These teams are really close. They play in very similar ways. Shaq and the Funny Two just got in a bad matchup. Yeah. So that's the best 2 teams in that top bracket. So we'll go to the next one. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. So now we got the information team: Magic Johnson, Ray Allen, MJ, Kawhi, Bill Russell, Dame Dollar, Paul Arzen, Rick Barry, Chris Bosh, Willis Reed facing up against D.L. Hewley, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, T-Mac, Dirk, Hakeem, Dave Bing, Jerry Lucas, Kevin McHale, Tim Duncan, and Bill Walton. What do you think about this series?
I'm going with the information team.
Okay. How many games and why?
Okay, let me see. Let me look at this roster again. T-Mac does make a difference. They have some good scoring on the D.L. Hughley team, but like I said before, they have Magic Johnson run point. They can space the floor with Ray Allen, allow MJ to work inside, allow Kawhi Leonard to work inside. Bill Russell is a defensive monster. Then you have Bosh and Rick Barry, shooting wise. Willis Reed. I mean, it's Dame. It comes in to stretch the floor just like Ray Allen does when he gets out. It's a perfect team. I would say they might get one game, maybe two, because of the T-Mac Dirk combo. Because that's just a lot of scoring. Other than that, it's like the team falls apart. Like after you get it's like T-Mac, Dirk, and Hakeem, that makes a difference. But he has a lot of bigs, so like, how do you set these guys up? Because everybody can't get minutes.
Tim Duncan would be getting most of the minutes off the bench. Tim Duncan would be that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I still would go with the information team, like 4-1, 4-2.
Well, I am going to disagree to a certain extent. I think this series goes seven. This game goes seven. This series goes 7 games. I have the information team winning as well, but the reason why I think they'll go 7 games is Bill Russell's kind of like 6'9", and then Kawhi Leonard 6'9", 6'8", Willis Reed 6'8", Chris Bosh is the backup center. So when you have power forwards like Dirk, who's 7, and Tim Duncan, who's like 7 foot as well, and then the center's got to guard Hakeem, I think it's a lot of post presence in a team that has a lot of basketball IQ. So they're going to play at a slower pace. So it's going to be a little bit of a grinded out series. And, I think because of the bench is built so perfectly with Dame and Rick Barry and Chris Bosh offensively with shooters, that's why I have them winning the series. Mm-hmm. But if they didn't have guys like this, I would honestly take the upset here.
Yeah.
Because it's just a tough matchup. But, DL Huli gets kicked out by the information team. All right, you ready for the next game?
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's going to make it into our Final Four. We either have Dominique Wilkins, who has got Oscar Robertson, James Harden himself, Karl Malone, Moses Malone, Lenny Wilkins, Paul Pierce, Dolph Schayes, Bob Pettit, Patrick Ewing, versus LeBron, Pistol Pete Maravich, Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, the Joker, Sam Jones, Steve Nash, Dave DeBusschere, James Worthy, and Anthony Davis. Who's winning?
Sue Bird's team is winning.
Yeah, this is a blowout. This is they just don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with a team like this.
Not at all.
Is too much shooting, too much passing, and they have the size to guard Karl Malone and Bob Pettit inside. So, I completely agree with you, 100%. I would have them winning 4-1.
That's fair.
How many games did you have them winning in a 7-game series?
I'll go 4-1 too. I don't know.
All right. So the Final Four. All right, Chris. Let's see who's going to go to the championship. We either have the Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker, and random guy team that's got CP3, Jerry West, Kevin Durant, Scotty, Shaq, Bob Cousy, Earl Monroe, Klay Thompson, George Mikan, and Robert Parrish versus Jerry West's Dream Team, John Stockton, Elgin Baylor, Kobe the Bean Bryant, Charles Barkley, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Sharman, John Havlicek, Carmelo Anthony, Nate Thurmond, and David Robinson. Who's winning?
The information team is going against...
Oh, no, not the information team.
I mean...
The Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker team.
Are going against Jerry West.
Going against Jerry West.
I got the Dwayne Wade team winning.
How many games and why?
4-3. I got him 4-3.
Ooh, good series.
I got him 4-3.
Okay,
it's going to be a good team because, like... man, this is a tough one looking at it. They have a lot.
That's a fact.
They have a lot. They have shooting. They have defense. They have Shaq. Shaq makes a difference. Because who's going to guard Shaq? And then they don't have anything like David Robinson might be able to like hold him a little bit, but not really. I mean, but they have Wilt. Hold on a second. Can I? I'm gonna switch.
Go ahead.
Jerry.
The upset.
Jerry West, 4-3. I'm going with Wilt. I believe in Wilt, especially 24-year-old Wilt. I'm going with Wilt.
And David Robinson coming off the bench.
And David Robinson going off the bench. I'm going with Wilt. I'm going with Jerry West, 4-3. It's a good series, but I'm going with Wilt. Kobe makes a difference as well. But if Wilt can stop Shaq, they have a lot of scoring on the other team. That's the only thing. Oh my gosh, this is tough.
Mhm.
It's a lot of scoring. It's a lot of scoring. So it's like scoring versus like bigs.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is tough. I'm not sure.
That's a fact.
Who do you have?
Oh man, put me on the spot. This is a great matchup. And certain things kind of negate each other. The CP3 Bob Cousy ball control, ball possession thing kind of gets negated by John Stockton. So there's no great advantage there. And you got Elgin Baylor is an interesting matchup because he didn't know Jerry West very well, but Jerry West is probably going to win that matchup. But bringing on off the bench, bringing in John Havlicek and Melo at that 2-guard position offers that scoring that they need. The KD versus Kobe matchup. The only thing is you can kind of throw Scotty at Kobe. So that's an amazing world-class defender guarding Kobe. And KD can go get destroyed by Charles Barkley and David Robinson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either going to be him or Scottie Pippen. Both of them are losing those matchups. Shaq versus Wilt. We would lean Wilt there. It's an interesting combination. Those minutes of Klay Thompson is tough for the Dwayne Wade team. That's a lot of shooting off the bench and defense. That team shoots a lot better from the 3-point line and spaces a lot better. David Robinson is where things get tough because Nate Thurmond is a world-class defensive center. Like, he's 6'11", amazing. But him at power forward for 24 minutes a game, when I'm talking about David Robinson, who's guarding him?
Yeah.
KD? KD can't guard David Robinson. And they have the spacing to make it interesting. It's just not hyper elite spacing. But I mean, those minutes where Hondo's in and Melo's in a guard, the forward position, it's a great series, Chris. It's a great series. KD is tough. KD might negate Kobe's scoring.
He's taller for sure. Yeah. He can match it very well.
I think that, man, every time I say in my head, I think that blank, something comes up in my head. I'm like, really? Do you really? It's a great matchup, Chris. I think a good way of breaking this down off the top of my head is saying, okay, Shaq's the 1, KD's the 2, Jerry West's the 3, Wilt's the 1, Kobe's the 2. Who's the 3? David Robinson.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I think Jerry West in that head coach could do in this series is say, hey, David Robinson's not coming off the bench. David Robinson's going to play our power forward position, and Charles Barkley's going to back him up.
Yeah.
We're going to bring Nate Thurmond in. And then that's where things get really hard because who's guarding them?
Yeah.
Because David Robinson, in theory, can guard Kevin Durant. He's a ridiculously special defender. I think when you view things that way, I didn't choose this originally, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the 4-3 upset. I really love this D-Wade team, but they ran into a terrible matchup.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. Man, that team's good, though. But when you get that CP3 Bob Cousy dynamic of we're always going to get the most efficient shot on the floor, if it wasn't for John Stockton negating that, I would not choose them.
Yeah.
It's just they have certain things that kind of negates why I love the D-Wade team. And I'm going to agree with you. Jerry West, the 3 seed, goes to the NBA Finals of the championship. They're going to be silver or silver or gold. They're going for gold. The 3 seed with all the upsets. It's amazing. I love upsets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yep.
The 1 versus 2 seed just is going to be a great series. The Subird versus the Information Squad. The Information Squad's got Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Ray Allen, Kawhi Leonard, Bill Russell, Dame Dalla, Rick Barry, Chris Bosh, Willis Reed. And then, the Sue Bird team's got LeBron, Pistol Pete, Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, Jokic, Steve Nash, Sam Jones, Boucher, Dave DeBusschere, James Worthy, and Anthony Davis. Who do you have winning and why?
Sue Bird 4-3.
How many games? Okay. Why do you say that?
Because they just have too much. It's a lot of teams that have a lot, but this team has literally too much. I'd have them winning it all, actually. Because LeBron, Stockton, the people you've named, they have great basketball IQ, so they see the floor differently. Magic Johnson is on a different level, but it's him and Mike, and then, the spacing, shooters, which is exactly what they need to operate, so you can get them to operate at a high level. But I just think that the LeBron, AD, because you could definitely have AD, you'd say, okay, forget these other 2 guys. He's playing over you. And the John Stockton coming as shooting guard, that's a lot of firepower there. The whole team has a lot of firepower, a lot of high basketball IQ. I'll go with IQ and firepower and passing ability over, spacing. But it's difficult. It's difficult. This one is difficult too. You got a lot of difficult matchups here.
One thing that could be interesting, I'm talking through my thoughts right now. Let's say Ray Allen comes off the bench and Dame Lillard does all the point guard minutes back up 2, but he's the starting 2 guard. That's an interesting dynamic of really deep perimeter shooting with the we have to admit here, Michael Jordan, I understand people may think we're haters here. Dude dominates the paint.
Yeah.
Even though Kevin Garnett and Anthony Davis is on that team, they need Jokic on that team for spacing, and he's going to get 35 minutes of center. He's big, but he's not a defensive center at all.
Not at all.
So it's so much team size though, and we got Bill Russell's an amazing interior defender. Having Willis Reed off the bench is a real negative because Anthony Davis is going to dominate. Ray Allen's a shooter. Kawhi Leonard. This team plays defense. They got plenty of defenders to throw at Braun and Bird. Right defenders at the right spots. Magic Johnson orchestrating it all. I need to make sure I'm thinking about this right. People really underrate Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
He's special.
For sure.
The only thing about Sue Bird's team is they don't really have, a great backup 2 guard.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Steve Nash, Pistol Pete. Steve Nash is a small guy. He's going to get exposed defensively, but they need him to play 35 minutes, 2 guard spots off the bench.
Yeah.
Man. It's a tough one. Magic Johnson's going to be a great post player. Who's guarding who? They both are kind of positionless teams as well. It's intriguing, but Dame can kind of hide himself on Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
Size-wise. Magic, Braun. That LeBron James, Larry Bird combo is tough. Pistol Pete's tough. KG's tough. Jokic is tough. But one thing is, too many passers?
Really?
Well, everybody needs the ball to have their passing ability shown.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, Larry Bird, Jokic, Steve Nash, Pistol Pete Maravich. There's only one ball. there's, like on the other team, it's like we don't really need anybody other than Magic and Dame.
Yeah.
Because Magic's Magic, and Bill Russell's a good passer as well at the center position. I can't believe I'm about to say this, Chris. I am taking the information team to beat Sue Bird 4-3. Because of Dame. Dame makes everything different, and bringing Ray Allen off the bench, shooting wise.
Yeah,
that's where things.
I have it going. It can go either way, though.
Yeah. The only thing that they do have the right defenders at the right positions. They have Kawhi to throw at Braun. They have Magic Johnson to throw at Bird. They have MJ to guard. Actually, who's MJ guarding? MJ probably have to guard Bird.
Yeah.
Magic would have to guard KG. Magic guarding Kevin Garnett.
That's a problem.
Once I get into that, do they have another center on that team? Okay. I mean, if you put Chris Bosh at power forward, but where's Kawhi going to play then? I'm going to switch myself and go Sue Bird because of Kevin Garnett.
Welcome to the dark side.
After thank you. After explaining it to myself, I'm like, who's guarding Kevin Garnett, and then who's guarding Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they both can defend whoever they want because they're both ridiculous hyper athletes. So I'm going to come to the dark side and join you for Sue Bird 4-3, and they're going to go to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
All right. So now we have, I'm going to copy and paste it to make it easy. We're going to have Sue Bird's team versus the GOAT of all GOATs of the logos, because he's the only logo, Jerry West. And that's like who's going to be facing in the championship game. And then we're going to choose the 3-4 to see who's getting the bronze medal. So who do you think is going to win between Mr. West and Mr. Bird? And I copied and pasted their teams on page at the end of page 1 and beginning of page 2. Should have updated.
Okay, yeah, I see it now.
The All-Star game's in the fourth quarter.
Okay. So I have David Robinson. Wilt. I have Jerry West. 4-2.
What? No way.
Jerry West.
4K. I mean, why?
Why? Jerry
Why?
Wilt. David Robinson. Who do you put on them to stop them?
Kevin Garnett, Anthony Davis, Jokic rotation.
These are two hyper athletes at the center position. Jokic is not athletic. What I always say, he's the most skilled center. He's going to get a bucket, but he's not the most athletic center or the most dominating center. They don't have a dominating center like Wilt. They don't have a dominating center like David Robinson, who can also defend. I mean, AD is going to get ate up by Wilt and David Robinson, and then it goes down to the guard matchup. And you have Kobe, you have John Stockton, you have you know what I mean? Hondo, Melo. The guard matchup is a little bit different, but I think, then you go to like who guards LeBron, who guard Pistol Pete. I mean, the center matchup, Jerry West wins no matter what. But then if it falls down to the guard matchup, I might have to go Sue Bird. Because who's guarding LeBron? Nobody guards LeBron. There's nobody to guard LeBron. There's nobody to guard LeBron. Nobody to guard LeBron. There's nobody to guard Pistol Pete. There's nobody to guard Larry Bird. There's nobody to guard Jokic. They're going to have their way. On that side, I'm going to go Sue Bird. 4-3. 4-3 Sue Bird.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go 4-2. But the only reason why is because Wilt and David Robinson are going to be tough for LeBron James to dominate the inside. But the idea of, okay, at peak, the best defender on this team for Sue Bird is LeBron James at peak. And you could just throw him on Kobe because you don't have to worry about Pistol Pete Maravich scoring on, worry about John Stockton trying to score on Pistol Pete Maravich. He's going to be a system guy. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like Elgin Baylor doesn't, you could just throw Larry Bird and hide him on Elgin Baylor. Just be like, okay, he's tall. He's 6'8", you're 6'4", 6'5". What are you going to do? You know what I mean? The size thing is where things, and then you could throw Kevin Garnett on David Robinson, who is a phenomenal defender. Anthony Davis is a phenomenal defender. Jokic is going to get destroyed. Yes, 100%. Jokic, rip, dead, over, killed, all those things.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree with you more. It's because of that Wilt David Robinson combo, and Nate Thurmond as well, where they become a problem. But it's just too much perimeter scoring, too much efficient offense. 3s versus 2s is going to be a real thing in this series as well, too.
Yeah.
You have Steve Nash, Pistol Pete, Bird, Jokic. It's going to be like, yeah, you're winning inside, but we're getting shots up at the 3-point range at a high rate. And you have to respect LeBron James attacking the basket no matter what's happening. So I'm gonna go Sue Bird 4-2, and Sue Bird's our champion.
Yeah,
she gets gold. Good job, Sue Bird. I mean, it was probably meant by the gods when you draft your name's Bird and you draft Larry Bird. So it was probably meant to be. So those are gold and silver. And this is actually timing out really well because All-Star game, LeBron, they're basically playing to 163. And LeBron's at 159 right now, and Durant's at 155. But Jerry West gets silver.
And Durant isn't playing tonight, is he?
Nope.
Yeah, he heard that his grandmother passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
But he left.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Prayers up for his grandma.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that we walk past that sad one, let's see who wins the bronze. D Wade's #1 overall team or the information team? What do you have? Sneaking in at bronze.
D Wade or the information team? KD information team.
Okay, why? And how many games?
4-3, 4-2. I'm looking at the matchups. So you have the guard matchup would be Magic Johnson, CP3, Ray Allen, Jerry West.
LeBron just hit a game winner.
Damn.
Post mid range fadeaway.
Yes, sir.
He won the game. All right. Well, we can talk about that after.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were able to finish that game, though. All right, go ahead.
KD, MJ, take KD, Kawhi Leonard, Scotty. Kawhi Leonard might get that one. Shaq, Bill Russell. Shaq is going to dominate. Kuz, Dame. That's where it gets weird because Dame is cooking Kuz. Rick Barry, Chris Bosh, Willis Reed. Yeah, the way I'm looking at this is out of the 5 matchups out of the starting, who did I see? Did I pick the information team?
Yeah.
Out of the 5 matchups in starting, they win majority of them. Except for the Shaq matchup, they lose. But all of the guard matchups, they win. The Shaq and Scotty matchup, they don't win. But everything else, they win. Clay is going to be different, for sure. That's going to be a problem. But they have Magic to facilitate, to orchestrate everything. Ray Allen to space the floor so that MJ can work inside. Once he's inside, he's unstoppable. Kawhi is unstoppable inside. You have Bill Russell to defend at a high level at the center. Like, I mean, I think Shaq might dominate Bill Russell, but it wouldn't be too like a really really bad because Bill Russell he's undersized, but he's also a great defensive player. Um, Dame makes the difference. Like I said, they just don't have enough. They don't have too many winners at the guard position for me. So I would take the information team for 4-3.
Okay. Well, again. So size at the guard position is a tough one because when you have Magic, and Ray Allen and MJ, that's a lot of size to deal with when you have two guards that are like 6'4" and under.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of being able to throw Scotty at MJ is intriguing. And Klay Thompson to also guard him defensively as well at the two guard. Shaq is going to be the only thing that's really making me waver is, do you understand the level of dominance Shaq might average 40 this series or like 35.
Yeah.
Because all the spacing. That's the thing where it's like anything you're doing, what are you doing with Shaq? Because Bill Russell's 6'9".
That's what I'm saying. Like, but
Shaq's like 7'1" and like doesn't miss a meal. I'm gonna go D Wade's team 4-3 because of Shaq, and even though they're giving up things offensively, defensively, like MJ is gonna have to guard either Jerry West or CP3, and then Raylan's gonna have to guard one of them. Kawhi's gonna guard KD, but KD's like KD, you can't stop him no matter what. And I honestly think I'm going to disagree with you. I think in off the bench, you have Willis Reed and Chris Bosh. Like, Willis Reed is 6'8".
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to go with D Wade's team 4-3. Great series.